This was on CNN, by the way, on the Chicken Noodle Network.
Well, because, Juan Williams sitting there as sort of the happy Negro agreeing with Bill O'Reilly doesn't impress me at all.
Uh-oh. Joining me now on the phone, Juan Williams. Juan, now you're getting kicked around for just saying, hey, my radar's up, but it didn't detect anything from O'Reilly.
Nothing. You know what, though, John? I mean, this is typical. You know what? This is the kind of personal ad hominem attacks that are intended, that they really want to go after O'Reilly. But because I was involved in the conversation, because I didn't join the ranks of those who want to say that it was some racial incident, which is just an outright lie, I got to tell you, then therefore, in order to gain any steam, they figure they can attack me. And, you made a point earlier that it's not just white people. You know what? Guess what? When Bill Cosby stood up and had things to say, he got attacked in just this way as a self-hating black man because he said what he said about the problems that exist, legitimate problems in terms of school dropouts, crime rate, murder rate. Oh, why are you talking about that? That's the way they try to silence you, John. And in this O'Reilly situation, you know what? I said to O'Reilly at the time, they'll defend the likes of the most lewd rapper saying the most awful things. But if you get up and try to speak honestly and say, you know what, when I see these rappers on TV using the N-word, cursing people, talking about women as dogs, and then you say, well, that might impact the way you view and stereotype black people, that is the real threat. But you don't hear the same people that attack O'Reilly or attack me attacking those who are demeaning black people. No, they don't go after the real problem in black America. He said to me that his grandmother, stayed home a lot. She watches a lot of TV. And so she sees these stereotypical images that come through the rap videos, that come through the news of the crime reports about the murder rate, that come through when you hear about the problems in the schools, etc., and the high level of people in jail. And he was telling her, you're basing all of your attitudes on fear that has no grounding. I said to O'Reilly, man, wait a second, don't pick on your grandmother. A lot of times the people putting out these images, I think, are putting out these minstrel shows, and they say that that's authentically black, and they want to defend it, and they say if, anybody who challenges this is some kind of censor. But I think it's wrong-headed. I think that it's putting that fear in your grandmother. She's not a silly person. She's seeing this stuff on TV, and that's why the fear exists. Let's deal with the real problem. Let's talk about making streets safer. Let's talk about making schools better. Let's talk about improving our community. Yesterday I was on stage with Bill Cosby at Howard University and Dr. Robert Franklin from Morehouse, and they're all talking about the need for better parenting, more concern about our young people, telling them that drugs are a bad thing, not going into this business of, somebody down the street we know selling drugs, we can't report them, they're trying to make some money. No. That kind of attitude is what's going to need it to correct and improve our community, John. And yet you have these people out there who are wasting time on pettiness and attacking other individuals for speaking the truth.
All right, now you were hosting that thing with Bill Cosby, and I was watching it because I assumed Bill Cosby was going to make some news, and I suppose you probably got attacked for that. But do you get attacked, as a black man, do you get attacked more for discussing African-American issues with a white guy, O'Reilly, or more for discussing these issues with a black guy, Bill Cosby?
Gosh, that's a hard one. I wrote, in the book I wrote enough, Cosby I use as a motif because Cosby gave a very controversial speech on the 50th anniversary of the Brown v. Board of Education decision, in which he talked about the high incarceration rate, the high dropout rate. He talked about the 70% of black children today being born out of wedlock. He talked about the 25% poverty rate. And he said, you know what, we need in our community to take responsibility. What good are open doors? What good is the Brown decision if nobody's stepping through those doors and taking advantage of new opportunities in an era when there's still racism, but there's much less than there was for the previous generation? So Cosby was attacked as a self-hating black man for saying that. I picked up some of that criticism all along the way. In addition, John, I get criticized because I work for we both work for Fox News.
Oh, yeah.
And then when
they don't much like that at NPR, do they, Juan?
Oh, boy. And then when I talk with O'Reilly, the idea is, because you engage O'Reilly, and half the time O'Reilly and I are going back and forth arguing, all of a sudden, you're lending credibility to O'Reilly, and you are to be despised and put down as the happy Negro.
We could call up Brit Hume and say, does Juan Williams just kind of lay down in any sort of debate that's going on?
Can you believe that?
No, I can't believe that. I mean, I see you guys going at it. I know that you and O'Reilly have had disagreements, and you go at it, and you're not shy about making an argument.
Juan Williams sitting there as sort of the happy Negro agreeing with Bill O'Reilly doesn't impress me at all.
And then you got this guy coming along and trashing you as if you're nobody.
That's what I said. That's their technique. It's a very personal thing, very insulting, and yet they think that's a legitimate way to advance an argument. All they're doing is advancing recognition that they will lowball you, that they have nothing to say, they have no response to the facts, to the real issues in our community, except to try to somehow demonize me. But I'm not the issue. The issue is, again, how do we educate some kids? How do we help kids avoid ending up in the jail cell? How do we help young people realize it doesn't make sense to have children out of wedlock? Strengthen families. Those are the real issues. And so I don't want to, get into a tit for tat with what I consider to be kind of, a very personal attack. I would rather raise it up. And I must say, finally, that in terms of O'Reilly was literally talking about defeating stereotypes and defeating the rappers, and the fact that some of these big white corporations will hire rappers. And we were discussing a guy named Twista that McDonald's had picked up. And so, why do they pick that guy to represent black America? Why do they put that out there as an image for young black kids, as somehow, put McDonald's and Primature on this guy when he's doing nothing but insulting women and behaving as if, gangster life and thug life is the norm in the black community, to which O'Reilly mentioned he'd been up at this restaurant in Harlem. Everything was normal. Everything was friendly. People were surprised to see he and Al Sharpton. And yet all of that context, John, somehow gets lost on this guy because they're so busy wanting to engage in personal attack.
Well, this is Media Matters. They take what you say, misinterpret it, and then launch an attack and say it's racist. They're also trying to stick him with a Don Imus moment. Juan Williams, thanks very much. Juan's book, which is dead on this subject, Enough: The Phony Leaders, Dead-End Movements, and Culture of Failure That Are Undermining Black America and What We Can Do About It. Check out the book.
Not just another talking head. There's substance behind his style. John Gibson on Fox News Talk.